How you doing, guys? So today we're gonna talk why some kids losing hearing, and they even can, if it develop worse, can be even deaf. And as you can see, most of the kids that this thing happened, it's after 3 years old. And if you check my vector psychology video, you can see that I'm going to talk about audial vector kids, because mostly, probably 99%, it can happen to audial vector person, because his ears are really sensitive, and that's how we receive all the information. And ears are really sensitive part of his body. Now, when you see those kids, for example, you can see they born like perfect, like 99% of kids, no issues, no stuttering, no any mental disorders. It's all develops after before 3 years old. Kids, they still kind of undeveloped. They cannot really realize, if they don't really differentiate even other people versus themselves. For example, if they go not covered, completely naked, they don't feel anything. It's like natural for them. So they still kind of undeveloped until 3 years old. So mostly can be after 3 years old and what happens is when parents scream on them, or they scream on each other really loud, and it's audial vector kid, it can impact his hearing, and especially if they curse on him, because every word they kind of try to. Audial vector person is the person who kind of discovers things. They used to, when we lived in the tribes, they used to be night watchers of the tribe. They watch the tribe at night. So every night they used to be kind of by themselves. They used to think a lot, and by the way, they more productive at night, and they kind of feel always sleepy in the daytime. And you can check my vector psychology videos and see why. I explained it in another video. Now what happened is, when you scream on your kid and it's audial vector, every vector in a matter of stress, when there is a stress situation, every vector, especially kid, responds differently. For example, if anal vector kid, his sensitive part of the body, stomach and anus, he's gonna have, every time there is a stressful situation, and if he expecting it, he's gonna have diarrheas all the time. For example, there is a final test in the school, you always have those issues. Now, in the time of the stress, when the stress has happened already, he has a opposite, like constipations, and he cannot go to a restroom. I always have these issues, anal vector kids, and stomach issues, stomach ulcer, and stomach, all these. For example, the anal vector kids, their personality, it's like more older, like stomach and older vectors, it has like works like sphincters, like something that close and open, and it's anus, then it's stomach. When it's a stress, they always like close and open those sphincters, and they have stomach ache, pain in the stomach. They have, and it can go even further. It can go to all the way up, and they can even become. There's really lots of stress. Mostly can develop in anal vector kid, stuttering. They can have issues when they speak, when the speech breaks abnormal. Now let's get back to our audial vector kids, because it's really a big issue. Those kids in a stressful situation, when there is a stress, they start to, when they hear too much noise, if somebody, especially if somebody curses on them or screams, it's the worst thing you can do to audial vector kid. There is a muscular vector. You're not gonna damage his psychologically if you're gonna scream or beat him, but we're gonna talk about that in another video. But audial is like fragile. Every word he hears, he's trying to figure out the sense of this word, the meaning, and he's always thinking about things. It's like a potential genius. And when you curse on him, when you scream on him, it's the worst thing you can do. So when he try to close, he's trying to, for example, when it's too much really noise and pressure on him, he's trying to close inside. It's introvert person. It's trying to block his hearing, kind of subconsciously. He's trying not to hear that scream of the mother, or mother between the father. By the way, parents, especially mother, that's the most sensitive thing to the child until especially 3 years old. If he doesn't feel that safety and security through his mother, if he loses, that's his core personality, that safety and security. Subconsciously, kids need this feeling from the mother, especially from the mother. And when she starts screaming, cursing, and stuff like that, he loses that. So it can become even worse. And not just hearing, can become some other disorders, like stuff like, for example, if it's audial vector kid, you can also check my other videos. It's stuff like what do you call it? Schizophrenia, or it can be autism, or I mean a lot of things from can happen to this audial vector kids. And doctors, there's not much they can do about that, because it's kind of more psychologically. So if you go do surgery, sometimes I mean most of the cases it's just gonna become worse. So just pay attention to first, figure out which vector is your kid, and if it's audio, be very careful the words you telling him. When you scream in the house, it cannot be next to the loud people voice. I mean, it has to be. You prefer when it's quiet, and you really need to pay attention to those things. All right. I'll see you next video. Take care.